All right, I'm going to give you the answer to how to be intelligent. It's easy. Do you want to know the answer? Here's the answer. Ask questions of everything all the time in your mind. All the time, nonstop. Just ask yourself nonstop questions. Why does that work that way? Why does that do that? Where did that come from? Oh, wow, someone had to think of that. Oh, wow, something had to think of that. Oh, wow, that came from something. Oh, wow, someone had to think of that conceptualized off of something. Every time, they call that thing the rabbit hole when you trace the pathology of how things created. Source energy. Sorry, that's my Bluetooth. That's source energy. When you start tapping into, and bringing consciousness and awareness to things that exist before you thought or realized you were using them as part of your existence. Again, simplest things. This hat, yes, it's cute, right? But someone had to think of the concept of a hat, and then they had to think about, well, a hat needs to be warm, and what is the purpose of a hat and keeping warm? And then someone went deeper and was like, well, the head, the brain, the mind. If the blood gets too cold, you go into hypothermia. If this happens, you know what I mean? This is the key to intelligence. This is why reading, speaking, asking questions, using your voice. Anytime you have a question, just ask. Even though it might sound weird or freaky or stupid, ask. And then when you start getting around people who start resonating with those questions, that's your tribe. And then you and your tribe, you start realizing how to build off of these thoughts and how to make community, and then so on and so forth. This is conceptualization and an aspect of looking outside of ourselves from the names and the bodies and the beings that we've been given, and recognizing that we are vessels. Everything around you is a vibration. My voice is a vibration. The light hitting my eyes and going off and becoming this type of la 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 is a vibration of light frequency. It's all frequency. It's all energy. We've been saying this over and over and over and over. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about pop culture, because there's a point when you get into life where you get past that is entertainment. Then you look outside and you see just pure nature, pure God, pure energy, and you're like, wow, where did all this come from? And how long has it been there? And what has it seen that I've never seen? And how do I get to experience understanding what that means? That's called empathy. This is all correlated if you take the time to ask questions. When someone says, you can't do that, why? When someone says, you shouldn't do this, why? That's not being a smart ass. I mean, yeah, there's ways to be rude, but if you're tactful in your demeanor and your actual questions and the empathy and the intent behind it, sometimes you'd be surprised what questions people are like, oh, I've always wanted to ask that, but I was too afraid because I thought reaction from the outside world that I should feel based on these reactions, and then conditioning, imprinting, and then watching our parents teach us what they did to these reactions. Again, these are unhealed timelines. These are all things that are connected. But if you ask questions, why do I feel this way? How did I get that point? Why am I scared right now? Bam, the brain, the mind, the spirit, energy will take you there, and you're going to get the answers at the most random times. That's how inventions are made. That's how creation happens. That's aha moments. All of that. Just ask questions. Just put them out there. And then you go back, of course, you detach yourself from them, and then go back to your daily life. Watch that show you like. Go hang out with your friends. Have that drink. Do your thing. But don't put guilt on it. Because then as soon as you put guilt on it, now you're creating energy around questions that you pose to the universe. And it says, oh, well, this is where they want me to pull them. And then it gives you the answers. And this is how we get into, oh, this always happens to me, and woe me in my life. And then that's everyone, baby. But when you start recognizing that, oops, I asked only half of that question. There's a light and a dark to each side of every question posed. This is why we have as above, so below, and the mirror and reflection. And again, you don't know who you are without a mirror or someone telling you. You don't even know what you look like. Can you think about that for a minute? You don't actually know what you look like if there was no such thing as a reflection and no one could describe it. Imagine that for a minute. What would your life be? This is the point of tapping into your energy, understanding that energy is emotions, and your emotions, that becomes something that's innately built in to help your brain process what we call logic. But when you use logic and emotional intelligence, then you get to practical options. Not just a choice of linear picking, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. But as long as you know how to narrow it down to what really is needed for you and your soul and your journey, then that's how you get to your answers. You will never, ever be wrong if you get to a genuine emotion that says, yeah, that's me. I accept that. And I understand both sides of it. The dark sides where I can soak and sink down into my emotions and just die inside of myself. Or I can live too much for my ego and go out there and just penetrate the world so much that I'm out there, but I'm not doing nothing. You know what I mean? We know these people. We know we've done that to ourselves. It's just taking that energy back, honing it back onto yourself, and practicing your self-awareness of thought, your self-awareness of emotions, why you're thinking what you're thinking in that moment, because then you'll stop to feel it, allow your heart to beat and breathe. Just about 1 or 2 breaths. I swear to God, every time, and just sit and pause. And you feel your body vibrate. And then you feel the emotion. Oh, wow. I was just holding in that. The thought is so unrelated to the emotion sometimes. That's how we don't catch when our gut intuition is saying, don't do that or do this, and we don't listen to it because our thoughts like, well, no, remember that time, remember that time, remember that time. Ugh, get out of here. Ah! This is the point of knowing who you are and how you feel. That is who you truly are, your heart that beats inside of you, again, that has no light of day ever. It can only trust your intuition, and the only intuition that we as humans have created and relied on is our thought, which is a byproduct of our emotions. So whatever we're feeling, we're creating. Hello, people. Then the thought becomes real because then we see how to implement it. This is our masculine energy. We see how we can make it exist from our feminine energy, which is our thought, which is just creating all these scenarios. That's what it's supposed to do. Again, we have no idea of whatever seed we plant. We could say it's an orange seed and plant it and say oranges are supposed to grow. Every season oranges grow, and all of a sudden apples start growing. Who the fuck are we to say that can't happen? We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, this is just how nature has always shown us how it creates. We call it evolution and all this stuff, la, la, la. Yeah, but look at the magic of that. We can always put science and words to it, but stop and feel what that means. Someone had to stop to articulate that thought to even teach it so that you can appreciate it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Don't get so caught up in the thoughts you know and the things that you understand you know based on conditioning. What you are and who you are comes from listening to yourself. Listening to yourself breathe, listening to yourself speak, listening to yourself feel, because the body, again, the body is a freaking piece of flesh that's electrified through electricity of some sort, and it's just working for us. And then our souls are living its journey through this body. That's why it's important to respect your body. My body is Jawan. My soul, I have no idea what their name is, but I know that it's an energy that's been here before. My spirit, that's the life force. That's what gets me up and lets me rest and sleep. Again, we don't say, I don't want to sleep. We can try, but you're going to fall asleep naturally at some point. If you don't take no drugs or nothing else, you just sit there. Your body will be like, I'm out. That's the point. The body needs to be respected as what the body is. The body can only do what the mind is taking from the heart. And if you're constantly lying to yourself, confusing your heart, living for other people's truths, not asking yourself what you truly want, then you're going to always confuse your mind, and your mind can only rely on new experiences. So if you never give your mind new experiences and you only have old emotions you won't deal with, guess what? That's a mental prison. This is intelligence. This is emotional intelligence. I started off saying, do you want to know how to be intelligent? But now that you've gone through this with me, if you listen to the whole taping, that is emotional intelligence. You just went through a journey of feeling yourself because you're processing what I'm saying and you're taking it in, and you have to feel what I'm saying to understand how to process what I'm saying. That's why when people say there's good communicators, because we take the time to really feel what we understand as our emotion, and then we can articulate our experience of that emotion to you. So now you have a dual perspective of what you feel, and then I'm giving you a tertiary aspect, and then you can take that out and feel. This is compassion. This is empathy. This is love. This is what real agape love is. I can love any and everything and everybody because I know that I'm strong enough in myself to know that I don't need to be codependent on others' energy, but I need, of course, to be a part of that energy and tribe so that I can fulfill my part of being loved and that other people can fulfill that part of receiving it. And when they receive it, guess what? I get to receive it. And this is how we all get to grow. This is why it's important to speak from love, live in love. Love is not romantic only. And I don't even want to say that. Love is love, period. But sexual connection to love all the time has to be one aspect of just one small part. Really having self-respect and loving yourself through the entire journey of why it's important to give your body to someone who appreciates it versus someone who's just using you as a piece of toilet tissue. This is when you start feel what that means. Do I like feeling like I'm at their beck and call because I just always have this pent up energy to give? Or do I really want to give my body because they see how much energy I have to give and they appreciate me for it and they take just as good care of me on the outside as I do of me on the inside? Do you know what I'm trying to say, baby? This is learning the self. And then you can get to a point where somebody will try to approach you and they tell you what they think you want and you say, honey, that's cute, but I know who I am. I know what I can get and what I want. And at the end of the day, it's not about putting someone down. It's saying, here are my boundaries. It's nice that you can look at me and appreciate me, but when you use an old experience that's only worked on a collective of a pattern, then that means you need to wake up and start stepping to your throne. And you're in that throne. It can be a king or queen, or empress or emperor, whoever you want it to be. Just step up to your throne and own it, and do not apologize for it. And then you start owning your emotions. However you get to it, I get through mine through strength. Y'all see, I get riled up. When I get to my strength of love, you can't tell me nothing. I love too hard for me to care about how you feel about why you don't like how I love. Cool. Well, just like a supreme mother, I'm not going to stop loving you because you got an attitude with me. I'm going to love you through it. And if you want to distance yourself, do so. I'll be here when you get back. I had to learn this myself through my own mother. It's learning how to listen, get back to the energy that is source, trace the pathology back, ask questions constantly, never stop wondering why, because then you get to experience why at some point, and then you get to take that and apply it how you must. But don't get caught in the thought of thinking that it's yours to own, because you own nothing. You are just a vessel. You're here to give that energy back to the universe. The universe needs you to process so that we understand how to get to the next level. That is the collective conscious. All right, my dears, I love you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, thank you for staying with me for these almost 13 minutes. It wasn't too bad, was it? Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Stay inside of you, but give you when you want to, okay? Learn your own boundaries so that you know how to receive and give love. And then those around you understand how to do the same. But we have to do these processes individually so that when we meet each other, we know how to give it back without expectation or retaliation or manipulation. It's just pure, it's just genuine, and it's always going to be love winning. All right, besos. Mwah, mwah, mwah.